Big exciting news for us Sunday night as the push is underway for hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks, renewed optimism for hazard pay, retroactive benefits for FPUC further back, and guess who's talking tomorrow? Jerome Powell, the man who singularly keeps on saying, get the stimulus done. I can't do it. You got to do it. And we can't wait around for more stimulus. This comes in as amid a news as Mitch McConnell's hands are sort of, reaching for your $800 billion money that's supposed to be used for executive orders of stimulus checks. Nancy saying, don't come back to me unless you have $12 ice cream in the next 48 hours. Steve Mnuchin saying, I'm just sort of sick of all of you. And Mitch and Lindsey Graham are not going to the potluck dinner too, apparently, together. So there's a lot of stuff developing. I'm here, you're here, and this is a big, exciting, great night of Evenings LALATE. Hey, good evening, everybody. What a great night it is. It's Sunday night. The Dodgers are on. I'm here in Los Angeles. The weather's quite beautiful, actually, tonight. The sun is quite crisp. It's a beautiful evening, and I'm really glad and happy that you have joined me for tonight on Evening to LALATE, part of a double hitter tonight. This and then Purple Power right after this. Got to tune in for that as well. I'm going to have incredible, great news across the board tonight, so thank you for joining me. Go to the Friends channel, subscribe. We're at 296 tonight. This is so exciting. 300,000 is just around the corner. 4,000 more. Let's get it. Mitch is bringing his helicopter to say hello to tonight's recording. Also, like this video. In tonight's recording, I have a lot of big stuff, starting with MSCs, then going to FPUC Retro, hazard pay. Then I'm going to go over Mitch trying to get your money. Mitch better not take our money. Come on now, child. Jerome Powell, he's ready to just, slap a bitch in this whole group. He's just, you're just acting all bunch silly. You got to get this stimulus going. And finally, analysts are reacting tonight, just in the last few minutes, about what could happen on Monday for your stimulus negotiations. Oh boy, it's good. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news tonight is a lot across the board. One of them is that Wall Street tonight, in a statement issued minutes ago by one analyst, still thinks that a stimulus package can get done next week. That's just his opinion, but it's really quite fascinating. The many cross currents we have been fretting over in recent weeks remain omnipresent, says Sharif Ahmed, an analyst, in a note tonight. The U.S. elections are close. Fiscal stimulus remains a key near-term potential catalyst, and developments on the virus front remain critical. A lot is very likely to happen in the next couple of days, and a broader micro picture could change the very massively developments on all different fronts. This is a major news statement tonight. This is amid news that the futures tied to the stock market are trading up on optimism for stimulus deals being formulated next week. Okay, Wall Street's usually right. Are they right this time? Well, one person you'll be hearing from tomorrow, besides me, on Early Mornings LALATE at 3 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in. A doubleheader broadcast, 2 half-hour shows, is the man himself, Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, is going to be testifying tomorrow in a scheduled hearing, and this is in regards to the economy. He's expected to talk about stimulus and why stimulus is needed. The last time he talked, we had big progress. The last time he talked is when the president suddenly said, you know what, I heard Jerome, I think I need to go higher. I need to give a lot more stimulus, and Jerome said, if I put the stimulus into the economy, we get it back faster. Remember, Jerome Powell is saying that if you put a lot of stimulus in this economy, it rebounds faster. If you just put little drips, it'll take many, many, many years for us to ever get back to normal. And that's what I've been trying to explain about the Temple of Doom. Her $2.2 trillion bill doesn't work now. It's too small for your stimulus checks. And it won't, categorically will not work if she expects this to be the bill if Joe Biden wins and that she introduces this in January, February, because by then you will need about $6 trillion of stimulus because we have waited around months. All right, let's get to the great news across the board, which is MSCs, baby. On Friday, this channel, which I created Purple Power with for this channel, I launched a new campaign, which is hashtag MSC. You know, no one's lobbying for you except us. We're lobbying for us as a family. And we said, hey, enough is enough. We're entitled to multiple stimulus checks. Senators believe we're entitled to multiple checks. A Senate bill says we're entitled to multiple stimulus checks. And Senator DeFazio on Friday said, you know what? I represent seniors, and one $1,200 stimulus check for a senior who's tried to endure this pandemic since the last stimulus check ain't gonna cut it. I'm asking for more stimulus checks. Well, so are we. You got one stimulus check, hopefully, under the first stimulus package, in a package in which you were promised 3 stimulus checks. You were promised one for March, April, and May, because the pandemic was supposed to last 3 months, and you were supposed to be on lockdown for 3 months. And at that time, you got one check, because what they did was they said, you know what, we'll take out the other 2, we won't tell them, and we'll get to the other 2 checks later on. Well, they never did. And they also never got to your FPUC extension, which was expiring in July. They said, we'll get to it later. It'll expire while we're on vacation. No one will notice because we won't be here. We'll be sipping our Mai Tais on the beach. And it'll expire their unemployment benefits. And, you know, we'll get to it later. Well, guess what? They got to neither of the 2 items later. And what they did get to was lots of PPP. They kept on giving more money to big business and more money to big business. And big business kept on saying, we don't need any more money. We don't need any more money. There's a reason why there's I haven't talked about this in a while. There's a reason why there's $800 billion sitting around in PPP, because no one wanted all that PPP. And tomorrow, or no, it should be Tuesday and Wednesday, Mitch will be introducing a new bill. And guess what? He's wanting to put out more PPP. Well, the important thing to understand is that when we're talking about MSC, the focus is executive orders. The focus is the money, you, and multiple stimulus checks and FPUC. Let's go over the details. First, $800 billion sitting around from unused PPP, which was a loan program. It was a loan program created by the federal government in the first stimulus package. It's called PPP, Paycheck Protection Program. It was launched in March. Then they went back a few weeks later, did it again, and then they went back a few weeks later, did it again. That's why there's so much darn money there. No one wanted no one wanted all that money. It was too much money. And so there's $800+ billion sitting around. Well, that's the money that should be for your stimulus checks. How many stimulus checks can you get out of $800 billion? A lot of people have been asking me that question. It would really be 2 rounds, because a $2,000 stimulus check is about $300 billion. So you would see it as 2 stimulus checks or 1 stimulus check of $4,000, and then FPUC. You need another extension of FPUC. Done. President needs to sign the executive order. If you watched 28 today at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time, 16 days to the election, boy, I went over the poll numbers for you. I went over the swing states for you. I got to tell you, that broadcast is a very, very well-watched broadcast. I think it's our most watched 28 broadcast ever. It's almost beating every other video today on this channel. It was so well watched because people understood that the president could win this election by doing that executive order and sending out the stimulus checks. Now, someone dropped in the comments, and I had to, I'll skip it. Just to understand, I said during that recording, I'm going to say it during this recording, this is not a recording to get someone elected or not get someone elected. This is to get you your stimulus checks. And ultimately, we're making it very clear to this president, if he does the executive order, we would get our stimulus checks, which were owed, and he'd also win the presidency. What's important to understand is that you were owed multiple stimulus checks April, May. You never got them. Okay, so then they came back and started writing up this stuff, this junk, the second stimulus package, and they wrote it in May. Okay, well, that's for April, May. Okay, that was one stimulus check. They didn't get approved in May. So now, as we sit here in October, they're still with the same version, just watered down, of the May bill that was supposed to be for one stimulus check. No. Do you think we're silly? Do you think we're just ignorant? Do we think we're just a bunch of buffoons? No, the Purple Power is smarter than that, thank you. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. It's over 6 months since we've been waiting for that second stimulus check. You're not going to give us one stimulus check for 6 months, honey. That ain't going to cut it. That ain't going to cut it. And guess what? If you want us to wait till March or February next year under a Biden administration, guess how many more months it is till then? Another 6 months. So we're supposed to wait 12 months for one stimulus check? No. This is what Senator Harris spoke about. Senator Harris, now the VP nominee under the Biden-Harris ticket, and Bernie Sanders and Ed Markey said, no, folks, please. They said this at the time in which Nancy Pelosi was writing the $1,200 one stimulus check bill that became what it is now and was introduced and debuted in the press. They said, no, we need our own standalone bill because that thing is a hot mess. And they said, one, you need $1,200 is not going to cut anything for anyone. You need $2,000. Second, they said you need $2,000 every month, not 1 month. What the hell's 1 month? Then they said you need it for at least 6 months or until the unemployment goes down or the pandemic goes away. Well, let's recap. It's been 6 months. $2,000 times 6 months is $12,000. Next, unemployment has not gone down. Third, pandemic's not gone away. So why is a wonderful group of senators who clearly did the economic analysis, who appeared across all broadcast news from MSNBC to Chris Hayes to everyone else and said, this thing they're doing over in the House for $1,200 is not going to cut it. Why is it suddenly supposed to cut it now? Are we supposed to forget that it didn't work before, now it does work? No. Multiple stimulus checks. We're owed them. Executive orders, $800 billion. Just do the executive orders, Mr. President. Do it right now. $4,000, 2 stimulus checks. Do them right now, executive orders. And do another round of LWA. We have LWA. You don't even have to do an executive order. Have it. Do it right now. And there's enough money at $800 billion. All right, so that's that. Today I went over, Mitch is going to try to get your money. Boy, that was a well-watched video. McConnell versus Trump. Mitch on Tuesday is going to be introducing a standalone bill for PPP. Now, I really don't know what he's talking about because on Wednesday he's going to introduce another bill. Mitch is generally a very, very good writer. Whoever puts out his press releases just writes beautifully. Everything just is very sort of shady, very, very jabby. It just sort of jabs, right? Calls, Pelosi Marie Antoinette. And he's generally very clear, but this sentence in here is very bizarre. And it sounds like he's trying to take your $800 billion for a standalone PPP bill. You don't want that to happen. Now, I don't know for certain it's happening. It just sounds like it could be happening. Let's hope it's not. Third, we already went over Jerome Powell, and we already went over EOs. Next, that 48-hour crapola stuff. Nancy Pelosi says she's giving a 48-hour mandatory deadline for you to, braid her hair or, bring her some cafe latte. I just, okay, thank you. Thank you. Do I care what you say? I mean, I really want to say, I can't say it on camera. I just, what I want to say. You just say it to yourself. I mean, it's sort of ridiculous. This is a person who for 6 months has said, don't come back don't come back to me unless you, whatever your name is. And now she's saying 48 hours or else. What is this? Is this, American Crime Story? is, Murder on the Orient Express. Okay, unless you come up with a murder weapon by the 11th page of the 5th chapter, I'm closing the book. It's just like, why are you making demands? Who are you to make demands? Who are you to make demands on people? I mean, now, what's important for you to understand is I want you, this is so, so important. I want you to tune in to Purple Power right after this, because I want to prepare you by information, emotionally, and also attention span to the barrage of false information that's going to be hitting you come tomorrow from Pelosi, McConnell, Trump, Mnuchin. It's literally going to be all over the place. And I already know that you're reacting to it right now tonight. Before I even get to that video, before you get to that video, let me give you a preview. I don't want you to worry about crapola. You're going to hear a lot of crapola because I can see it impacting you. I'm getting DMs and I'm getting tweets and I'm getting IMs about Nancy said this 48-hour thing. Oh my God, this is so horrible. Stop it. I mean, she's been talking that way for months. I mean, why are you getting yourself revved up about this? I don't want you to. What I want you to understand tonight is that there are several groups that are going to be fighting over different things. And unfortunately, they're not fighting for you. They're fighting to protect their job. There's going to be Pelosi trying to do something to keep her job. There's going to be McConnell trying to do something to keep his job. And there's going to be Trump trying to do something to get his job. Our focus is to get you stimulus. And that's why we really are focused here today. Your focus is that these executive orders would be the lifeline to get to the finish line, and that the president can do it. He still can do it. And what I want you to understand is that the timeline is not so clear. We're at the 16-minute mark of this video. One thing I want to make very clear to you right now is that there's no be-all and end-all for this timeline. Let me explain to you what I'm saying. I saw one really nice comment from a person that says, okay, I'm counting back 10 days from election night, and I'm adding 3 extra days. Well, the executive order would have to be signed by tomorrow because the checks would have to go out Tuesday for us to receive the checks that day. Okay, I want to make something very clear. Everything is very fluid at the moment. That's the first thing. Second, the impact of you receiving a check in your hand before you go to vote is no longer really there. So I appreciate that person's analysis. He's sort of doing what I was saying about a month ago. But at this point, would Trump do an executive order so that you get a stimulus check a day or two after the election so that he gets the benefit of the announcement and the publicity of it and the press and the speaking point for it for days and days and days? Absolutely. So don't presume that the fact that you cannot get the stimulus check in your hand by executive order by election night is going to kill the possibility of an executive order before election night. Absolutely not. I mean, imagine 3 days before someone votes and the president says, I'm going to give you $10,000. But it's going to come, a day after what you vote, and you're going to see, and I'm going to hold up the thing that I signed that says you're getting $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000. I mean, imagine your reaction. It's going to be positive. It's going to be positive. Even the fact that you haven't received it, you presume that you're looking at something that's official, that he signs as official, and you're going to get the money, you're just not going to get it that day. So there is that very fluid timeline that still works in your favor. Next, I want you to understand that this thing about after the election makes me very skittish. I don't like it. I don't like it. I've been telling you for several days, I don't like it. I don't like when anyone, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, says, we'll take care of it after the election. I don't like hearing about anything after the election because I don't know what that's scenario is going to be. I don't know who's in charge of the Senate. I don't know who's in charge of the House. I don't know who's in charge of the presidency. It may be incredibly great. It may, the day after election night, I may say, hey, we're in a great position. You're going to get stimulus because this has happened, this has happened. That's sitting here right now. I don't know what's going to happen then. And if it doesn't line up correctly, then you know what happens. We wait till March, and I don't want to wait till March. Finally, someone dropped a comment which was which I need to explain. Someone said, well, someone said, well, if this all starts up in January, why can't they get the stimulus checks on hand 10 days after January? Oh, no. I don't think anyone that logically thinks that in any regards believes that come January, if we still don't have a stimulus package, that this bill will be the stimulus package. It can't be. It has to be a brand new bill. It has to be about $6 billion, $1 trillion. It can't be $2 trillion. We've waited a year since the last stimulus package. It can't be $2 trillion. $2 trillion is a waste of time. I mean, it's just a waste of time. It has to be $6 or $5 or $7 trillion. So that'll take weeks of drafting. It'll have to go into sub and House subcommittees. It'll negotiate. It'll go back and forth. I don't care who's in charge of what branch of government. It takes time. And that ultimately, that taking time will take you till March to get the money. Let me answer some critical questions from last night. Enrique Ramirez, that's a DJ in LA by the same name. Making America Great requires recurring direct payments monthly to the American people. Amen. Lycra. Refocus. We, the American people, need to vote them all out in 17 days. Yolanda. I'm just tired of hearing about a bigger amount because of who the American people aren't seeing anything. Peggy Betts Godas. We weren't counting on crooked politicians, but Pelosi wasn't counting on incredibly informed purple power. I love that. Peggy Bess Gotos with purple hearts. And then WR. It's okay, LALATE, if you give us... It's a funny joke. I'm not going to say it on camera, but it's a hysterical joke. Linda Dearman. I don't understand why Trump can't do something to help the American people. Margaret Cook. As far as stimulus and Harris goes, talk is cheap. Do it. Charles Getting. We need our stimulus checks now, not a minute later. Belua Carter. Hello, Purple Power family. Pray that everyone has a great night. Yes, you too. Kimberly Aliva. Trump only cares about winning the election. Not true. Carlita Mayers. Democrats gave Nancy too much power. They did. Gail Little. American can afford it to pay bigger stimulus checks. It can. Jerome Powell will say tomorrow, as he said before, the American government should be spending 30% of our gross national product, GDP, on stimulus. And we've only spent 15%. What is that? Susan Jenkins. This is like a rerun. Julian, Purple Power rocks. Thank you. Tammy Dickinson. Tell Nancy to pay the light bill, and you won't be in the dark. I was in the dark last night. I was in the dark because it literally was dark. There was no light bill. But I love that comment. And anyway, go to the front of the channel, subscribe. Subscribe because we're going to get through this together. Subscribe because there's a lot of twists and turns. Subscribe because we are one family focused together to get us to the finish line. Also like this video. Coming up next is Purple Power. Please tune in for that. That's going to be a big one. And join me tomorrow morning, early mornings, LALATE, starting at 3 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. A double broadcast. The first one's at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second one's at 6:30. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay LALATE.